Welcome back to another episode of the Movie Dungeon. I'm your host, Dwayne, the Flyers Nerd. Today we're talking about the final episode of House of Dragons. So let's get on into it. Starting off with our beautiful tapestry. This will be the last time we get this tapestry, and I'm kind of sad for it, but I can say thank you for Helena for doing it, because I believe you're the one who's sewing the needle through this. Appreciate you. But starting off with Orlin, I think that's how you say that man's name. He comes running in, and he's waking Rhaenyra up out of her sleep, letting her know that Aegon has returned. She doesn't like that now one bit. And because he's back, this makes her believe that her reign is even more threatened. And it sends Rhaenyra into a panic attack almost. She damn near have a heart attack. She runs to Daemon, and Daemon tells her to use her dragons. He's like, fuck that shit. Let's go to war. Just burn them all. This is what I've been saying, lady. Let's just stop all the BS. Come on now. But moving right along. So Rhaenyra ends up sending Daemon to run the attack at Tumbleton. Baela asks Rhaenyra about saving Corlys, and Baela blames Rhaenyra for Corlys' capture. Rhaenyra grabs her face, and says, "Insolence runs in your blood, like your sister demonstrated." I said, "Good Lord, lady, why are you so crazy now?" Like, the way she gripped that woman's face. I said, "Come on now, come on, Rhaenyra, this ain't you." The crown's corrupted, and honestly, this Mad Queen arc, yay. This is what I wanted from Daenerys. But moving right along, we see our boy Hugh Hammer, and he leaves his post when he sees Daemon march into Tumbleton. His wife is there, and he wanted to make sure she was safe, and he's supposed to guard the dragon pit, and he just totally dips on that. We see bitch-ass Ormond knighting Darren. Ormond puts a whole bunch of little kids where the archers are trying to slow down the Winter Wolves and the Blacks, hoping that Daemon and them see them kids and be like, "Oh damn, the little ones," But as we see later on in the episode, some of those people that Daemon has in his army, like the Winter Wolves, don't give a shit. But moving right along, we see Silverwing without her rider, and that's because Ulf is getting drunk and telling everyone in the tavern how much he hates Rhaenyra and the Blacks. So him running his mouth, I kind of feel like he's the one who wrote that Queen of Bastards on the wall, because he said that a lot, and I feel like he's always had some type of animosity. Well, he has some huge animosity towards the Blacks, and especially at that time, and then now him repeating this shit, I'm like, okay, bro, you the one who wrote that. I know Ormond pretty much had those other people in the city working at, but I really feel like that was from him. It seemed real personal, and honestly, bro, can you blame him? Moving right along, we pick up with Aemon having more dreams about what went down with Aegon, and the witch bitch ends up telling her about herself. Now, come to find out, this lady is cursed to Harrenhal. She's about 100 and umpteen years old, right? And she was there when Aegon the Conqueror burnt down that bitch. So every person that moved into the ruins of that place, she had to serve under them. And that was originally her shit. So she had to serve under these people, these little bastards that don't deserve it because of what a Targaryen did. And here she is helping Targaryens. It's crazy. I think she might have an underestimating plan right there. But yeah, so she was there for a whole long time. She tells them her story. She had a husband and son. They both pretty much perished. And, Aemon says that he's cursed. He feels cursed because, he feel like he killed his brother and like a kinslayer. And pretty much she's actually cursed. So they bond over trauma bonding. So whoop-de-whoop, right? But moving right along, we see Rhaenyra talking to Helena because Rhaenyra still wants answers, and Rhaenyra takes the tapestry from Helena to get her to talk. And when she finally does talk, she says that our father would hate you. Rhaenyra does not give no fucks about what her father's vision was. So pretty much her father's vision was, peace, have the realm happy, everybody protected, and everybody happy and smiling. Rhaenyra doesn't see that, and she doesn't feel that. And honestly, I'm not really totally mad because, Jaehaerys, whatever, his ass was ruling over a peacetime. You know what I mean? He was ruling when there was no war. He was ruling when everybody did want to get drunk. And he provided that, having banquets, having parties, and all that type of stuff. He was really the good, happy king. And she's right. Like, low-key, his vision and what he kind of this won't work right now. They're in war because of Rhaenyra. But they're in war. And so his philosophies ain't gonna cut it. So she's losing all grasp of her father's vision at this motherfucking point. But moving right along. When Rhaenyra is leaving, she made the guards hold down Helaena and force feed her. It was such a terrible scene. It almost looked like they were waterboarding her. And poor Helaena. Poor Helaena. And after Rhaenyra did that, I kind of just been like, yeah, you know what? I think I might be siding with Aegon. I'm sorry. Girl, you don't do that to Helaena. Like Allison said, like, you can't even confine Helaena. Like, she needs to be out. She needs to see things. With Helena's seeing the little bugs, she cares about them because she cares about the little simpler things. And, her taking care of them is kind of like her way of easing her mind. And you took that away. Everything's kind of drove her insane. That her being pregnant and then, Rhaenyra wanting answers for the vision, from the visions and shit, really just drove her mad. And yeah, and drove Rhaenyra mad. And so she fucking force-fed her because she wouldn't eat for that baby, which Rhaenyra probably wanted to keep around to have like a political or some type of hold over the Green's head or something like that, but that's the only way. Why if you feel threatened, why don't you just don't let her eat? Starve them out. Get rid of it. But hey, that's just me. So I feel like she wanted to use it for more of a strategic plan than anything. But she had to make sure that baby still lived. She force-fed that girl. But moving right along. I love that Adam was trying to tell his brother that the queen is pretty much tripping. But Alan was so caught up in the queen's ass, he really didn't give a shit. His daddy's taken. Adam's pretty much saying, like, the queen is saying some crazy shit. And, she's damn near unrecognizable. And you over here fixated. What's up with Pops, man? You know what I mean? Like, Rhaenyra didn't even legitimize this shit, bro. Granted, they dad did only care about them for only like 3 minutes. But nonetheless, you so focused on this goddamn queen, because he feels like that's such a high honor to serve under the queen, right under the queen, which it is. But he takes that shit so literal, like he's forgetting who he is, bro. It's hurting me. I liked Alan. What the fuck's going on? But moving right along. Rhaenyra comes out in her this crazy looking armor, crown on over her little chain headgear, and her cape is like red with like scales, and her fit is black, and she looks intimidating. Her eyes have this makeup, little slit on it, look like dragon eyes and stuff like that. And she just looked overall badass, right? And she looked like she was ready for war. She don't swing that sword not one time in this damn episode. Not one time. Moving right along. We see Rhaenyra's son, Joffrey, finally. And he barely has any screen time in this. But I think that's the only introduced him for now. And next season, we'll get more of him. And maybe he has a bigger plot in season 4. Because we definitely miss a lot of Maelor's plot armors and stuff like that. So maybe they'll probably do something similar to her son, Joffrey. Maybe give him somebody else's plot. And hopefully we'll see more of him. But either way it goes, he's probably not going to make it, unfortunately. Sorry, buddy. But moving right along. Back at Dumbledon. Back at Templeton, we see Ormond and Ulf. And Daemon is getting his army more ready. Darren and his uncle free Corliss and try to make a deal with Damon, but Damon don't give no fucks. He takes Corliss as his prisoner, and he believes I'm messing all up, and he believes Corliss sided with the Greens pretty much. In a way, he did. The Greens offered like, hey man, give you Corliss if you let Darren run this part way over here, and we allow Rhaenyra, she can still run everything she's running, and there's other stuff too she can have, bro. Just let us go, let us have this, all good, and then eventually we can come down the line and kind of marry the houses at the right time and stuff like that. Damon wasn't hearing none of that shit, bro. Damon wasn't hearing none of that shit. He said he choked that little boy out, Darren's uncle. And he's like, well, who the fuck you think you talking to? You know who I am. He said, listen, I'll give you the chance to die here or to die behind them walls. And that boy took off, ran behind them walls, and Damon took Corliss as his prisoner. Howdy do damn. Aemon wakes up again, and this time he hears sounds of wings going by. He checks it out, and he sees his Aegon. He drops to his knees, thinking it was a dream, but no. Aemon walked right up to his ass and slapped the shit out of him. I'm alive. Best part of the whole fucking episode. But Aegon is my dude. In fact, he came there to fight Aemon, knowing Aemon has hands and got that sword. And he didn't give a fuck. And the fact that he saw Aemon not being the same man as he was when he last saw him, and he spared him and gave him an ultimatum about, like, if you help me get back on the throne, I might forgive you, shows so much character for Aegon. So much character. And the actor playing him makes you like Aegon more. Because in the books, you're really not supposed to like this motherfucker at all. Right? But, hey, bro. I think I'm Team Green now. That is what it is. Moving right along. Aegon chooses not to kill Aemon. We already just talked about that. And because of that, listen, you know, if you read the books, you read the books. And I kind of don't want to get into the book spoiler, but because that was my favorite part, I kind of want to elaborate a little bit more. You know, Aegon does say that let's go and get my crown back. But in the books, you know, he goes and he hides out in the dragon pit. And, you know, and with Hugh dipping and leaving from guarding over there, that motherfucker gonna move right on in, man. Move right on in. But let's officially move on. Daemon is going over the game plans with the battle and doesn't want to birth the kids because it would be a bad look for the blacks and for Rhaenyra. But some of the Winter Wolves really don't give a shit about that, like I said earlier. They just don't. Moving on. Back at King's Landing, Rhaenyra went to go see the High Septon to get them once again to appoint her as queen one more time. But the High Septon believes that Aegon is the rightful king, especially after they heard that Aegon is alive, thinking that he rose from the dead. So she had Alan kill him. Just take him out. I'm like, damn, girl, you just had some dude murdered down there at the Pope. And at that point, you could see that Ellen was like going over his head, like, damn, bro, do I even do this? Like, this is crazy. Like, he was probably raised off the gods and stuff like that. So he knows who that person is or what that person value is. And Rhaenyra just walks over to him and says, like, yo, you're blood of old Valyria. You don't listen to their gods. Kill him. I said, yo, you're tripping, bro. You're tripping. You're tripping. But yeah, so Alan goes through with that and kills the guy. But moving right along. Ormond is still looking for Oath while the city is under attack. Roddy the Ruin, he climbs the wall. A little kid decides to hit him with the stick on the back of the leg. Roddy Ruin turns and says, and to himself, I'm about to ruin you. And then puts an axe across that kid's face. And it was the most brutalest shit ever. And it was just like, listen, he was passing them other kids. That kid didn't need to do shit to him. That ass. Roddy the Ruin was like, yo, you want to fight? You want to go war? You not know who I'm about? I said, good Lord. Good Lord. He was not playing at all. That was the more, I think that was the most jaw-dropping little shot, a little scene right there. That one was crazy. Hugh arrives, running in to see his wife dead. Damon breaks through the gate with Caraxes and the rest of the army enter. Ormond finally finds Elf drunk, passed out, so he beats Elf, and Elf don't like that shit. He already said, like, yo, you know, Damon and them were beating me down on all this shit. He was telling that man Ormond, and that motherfucker heard it, used all against you. Want Corliss's place? I got you. And then you gonna put your hands on bro, knowing that he's all right. Moving right along. Ormond. No. Already passed out. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, a little excited here. John Roxton approaches Damon and calling him out, and this fucking fight is epic, right? And this is only one of the few times we really see Damon get his ass beat. Like Damon, he always winning. He's always beating people's asses. He took on the Crab army damn near by himself with his dragon. He only lost in season 1 against, I think, Cole, right? But he gets his ass beat. But it's a fight you definitely need to see, though. But moving right along. Ulf finally arrives on Silverwing and attacks the Blacks. Roddy the Ruin sees Ormond and walks him down. They do fight, and when I mean they fight, it was more like straight beating from Roddy the Ruin. Roddy the Ruin beats the shit out of this dude with his shield. Ormond stabs him and cuts off his arm. Ormond, with his little weak ass, he's about to throw up, and then Roddy said, "Bitch," hits his ass. He falls into the fence, and that's when they look up and they see Ulf. Ulf sees them. And he says to himself, but directed to Ormond, "Fuck you too." Dracatus, that nigga. Burnt them. So Ulf turns on both. You know, side note, spoiler for the books, he only turned on the Blacks, right? So him turning on the Blacks and the Greens in the show, you know, that shit, you know, sometimes the story, the showrunners, when they change certain things, it could be pretty fucking bad. But for this case, I kind of like the fact that he turned on both, because now it's up in the air and it leaves a cool little mystery. Like, what is he gonna do season 4 now? Moving right along. Corlys tells Damon, "We gotta go. Ulf turned on us." Back at the Red Keep, Helena jumps out the window onto some spikes below, ending herself. All the mental battle she had with her and herself, all the dreams, all the conflicts going around her, everybody doing a tug of war over this, over that, her kids, one of her kids getting killed, in the mix of people doing a tug of war, man, everything just finally broke her, man. Her being locked up in that shit, her mama dipping, she just couldn't handle it, man. She unalived herself, and I was hurt. I knew it was coming. But I was hurt. Moving right along. Rhaenyra, her ass comes in and she finds what Helena did. She picks up the tapestry and pretty much she picks up the tapestry and she sees what Helena has been threatening this whole time. And she sees herself. She saw Helena falling off of a tower building. Well, not building, castle. And you know, she sees herself, and it's like from the crowns, like blood is running through, and the fire and all the destruction and stuff like that. And then she looks out the window, kind of just staring with no motherfucking remorse in her body, and she simply closes the window, ending a great ass show. Now we gotta wait 2 fucking years for another one. And I gotta say, this has been a pleasure reviewing this. This is my first complete season, I should say, on this show. It's been fun reviewing it. Thank you for sticking with me. I am Dwayne, the flyest nerd you know, and this is the Movie Dungeon. Peace.